What's going on, everyone? Let's talk about Mrs. Loomis. Now, she is the infamous Billy Loomis's mother. She is the one that orchestrated and was the mastermind behind Scream 2. She was Debbie Salt, that was later revealed to be Mrs. Loomis, the big ghost face reveal at the end of Scream 2. She was the one that planted Mickey into Sidney's life, paying for his tuition at Windsor College. She was the one that wanted good old-fashioned revenge on Sidney. Now, when it comes to Mrs. Loomis, there has always been something that I've played with in my mind that I want to have a discussion with you all per usual, so make sure you join it down in the comments below, and that is, why exactly did she want revenge on Sidney and the rest of the game per se? But before we jump into it, be sure to like this video. It helps me out a lot, lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notifications, stay up to date with all things Scream, join this wonderful community, and all of our discussions. So, Mrs. Loomis, obviously, good old-fashioned revenge, makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's a perfect motive. You know, she lost her son, she lost her husband, she lost her family, and the majority of which to blame was Sidney's mother, Maureen. But it wasn't Sidney's fault directly. You know, she wasn't the one that told her mother to break up marriages and break up homes. She wasn't the one to, cause Mrs. Loomis to leave. She wasn't the one to cause Billy to go on a heinous killing spree. I mean, even outside of killing Maureen Prescott, he took it upon himself, him and Stu, to attack all of his friends in the town of Woodsboro out of, just pain and just frustration about what happened, about how his mother left, and just blame Sidney. That seems to be the sort of premise and setup. Everyone seems to blame Sidney for her mother's mistakes, for her mother's past. But ultimately, Debbie Loomis decided to leave. She was the one that said, I'm just going to abandon, as Sidney said, her son. She was the one that made the conscious decision that not just to break up her marriage and separate, but to completely just abandon Billy and walk away. And it's something that I always wondered, like, would of Billy actually became the infamous ghost face that we know him to be had she actually stayed? Like, yes, maybe they got the divorce, maybe they broke up, but if she never actually just up and left and abandoned him, would any of this really been an actual outcome? Would Billy have actually had the sort of guts to execute everything that happened? I mean, obviously, you probably still would have gotten Roman in his ear. Maybe the Marine thing still happens, but if he has his mother, maybe it's something that he never really explores outside of the Marine incident. Maybe he just blames her for the separation of his parents, but not necessarily the mother leaving and abandoning. And then even Billy's death, again, wasn't Sidney's fault. Like, what, Sidney was just supposed to let him kill her? And Gail was really the main factor in that. She was the one that made that saved everyone. I mean, it's even referenced from Sidney. She saved our lives. Be kind. She was the one that put the final nail in the coffin for Billy, which, again, yes, of course, Mrs. Loomis was targeting her as well. You got the phone call, Randy answered. That's for another video, because I actually have a discussion that I want to have with you all on that. But sticking with the Mrs. Loomis thing, it really wasn't Sidney's fault. It wasn't like Sidney was the most innocent bystander in this whole point. And I get, like, that's what makes her character so beloved and so connectable, if that makes sense. But it's just she's sort of the innocent bystander in this whole thing that just kind of got dragged into this whirlwind. But she's not responsible for her mother's mistakes, for her mother's decisions. Like, her mother was a grown woman that decided to step out and do these kinds of things, to break up marriages, to break up families, to be promiscuous, and thus Sidney had to pay for her mother's sins in a lot of ways. And it kind of became full circle with Mrs. Loomis. Now Mrs. Loomis blames Sidney, just as everyone seems to blame Sidney for her son's death and her marriage falling apart, when she could have just stayed. Like, she didn't have to abandon Billy, and thus none of this might have ever happened. Yet And I get it, she had this pain, this anger, this hate, this despise towards the Prescotts, you know. She blamed Maureen, she blamed Sydney, she wanted to blame everybody for, you know, essentially her mother and her mistakes. You know, her mother being the one that was the initial cause for the breakup, but Mrs. Loomis was the sole decision maker on just leaving and essentially saying, I'm leaving Billy and his father behind. And you just got this whirlwind effect. And I get that, you know, crazy is crazy. You know, you're never going to be able to understand crazy. Obviously, her mother Billy's mother had some sort of, you know, instability inside of her that made her snap. But, you know, why wait till, like, why was Billy the final straw? You know, what was the sort of orchestrating factor? You know, did Mrs. Loomis solely just enact this on her own, or did she have, you know, say a Roman whispering in her ear, or she had something, you know, sort of behind the scenes? And it would be interesting. It kind of ties into Scream 5 as well, because, you know, there's a lot of hope and rumors going around that this film will sort of tie many of the other films together and sort of bring everything full circle. So maybe there was somebody behind the scenes this whole time that just kind of was whispering and you know, Mrs. Loomis or Jill's ear. You know, obviously Roman was the deciding factor for Billy and Stu to kind of become the original Woodsboro killers. But, you know, what if somebody else was sort of behind the scenes and got to Mrs. Loomis? You know, maybe they were the ones that initially sent the information about her son's death, or something along those lines. And again, I get it's just craziness. There's no real explanation. There's no real, you know, conclusion as to why. It's just something that I've always sort of dwelled on and always thought about. Like, you know, why did she ultimately blame and not take responsibility? I mean, even in that end scene where her and Sydney are going back and forth, you know, Sydney basically calls her out point blank, and she just kind of brushes it off. Like, she doesn't have a real answer or explanation for that, you know? She just blames her mother, and it's like, I can't kill her mother, so I'm just going to kill Sydney. But it's like, it's not Sydney's fault. But anyway, it's just something that has always kind of just toyed with me, and I've always dwelled on. And now I have this platform to talk to many other Scream fans like myself, and I'd love to hear your opinions. So join the discussion down in the comments below and let me know what you think. Don't forget to like this video. It helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification so you never miss an upload. See you all in the next one. Thank you.